Hey guys, what's up? It's Jared here from One Up Creative. Today we are going to be doing a look at what I take when I'm doing wedding photography. Wedding photo and video is our area of expertise here at One Up Creative. It's kind of the area that we do the most work in. So I have worked really hard on trying to get what I take down to wedding photography pretty slim. And basically everything I take to a wedding fits right here in this bag, plus one other small bag, which I'm not going to bother to show you guys. But today, I'm just going to walk you guys through everything that I keep in this bag. And this is the bag that I carry with me all day long when I'm shooting wedding photos. Now, we also do wedding video. That is another thing we do a lot of. And when I do wedding video, I take a few more things. So I'm going to do a separate video on what I take when I do wedding video. But this one's just going to be our wedding photo setup. This bag is my main photography bag. I think this is the National Geographic NG5040. It's not an actual National Geographic bag. I think it's like a Chinese knockoff. National Geographic does make some nice bags, but they don't make this particular model. But I really liked the style of this model when I was just searching for bags online, so I ended up going with this one. It runs like 55 bucks. It's not expensive at all. But I really like the style of it, and it's been a pretty nice bag. It's held up overall pretty well. It does have a lot of fraying on some of the seams, but the seams are still holding strong. It's just some fraying going on. There are some patches and spots on some of the Velcro, like the Velcro is ripping off, but generally the bag is held up quite all right. Overall though, I do think this bag is a little bit small, and I'm thinking about getting something a little bit larger so that I'm able to kind of fit some more gear in it. Because I'm doing so much combo wedding photo and video, being able to consolidate my gear a little more would be even better. Okay, so now that the bag's out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it here. We're gonna start right here in these front pockets. We're gonna open up this one on your left, my right, and we're gonna reach in. First thing we're gonna pull out is an AC adapter. This turns AC to USB. You know, use these for your phones. Use these things all the time because I actually charge a lot of stuff in this bag off of USB, so I keep one of these in my bag. The other thing I keep in this pocket is batteries. I keep these AA batteries. These ones I'm using here are Eneloops. I also use Amazon rechargeable batteries because I was buying Eneloops for a long time. These are fantastic batteries, but I also watched a video where I learned that the Amazon rechargeable batteries are actually basically identical to the Eneloop batteries. They are made in the same factory and everything, and they cost like 1/3 the price. So I would highly recommend getting the Amazon batteries. You can also get IKEA batteries because they are also nearly identical to the Eneloops, and they are also very cheap. So IKEA or Amazon batteries. Eneloops are great, but they are a little bit expensive. Okay, we're gonna open up this next pocket here, and in this pocket, what I keep is a business card case. So this card case is from Moo. Just was the case that my business cards came in. Don't see the need for a big fancy one. Just keep some of my business cards in it. But then the other thing I keep in this card case are my SD cards. I don't keep all of my SD cards in here. I also have a credit card sized SD card holder that I keep SD cards in. And I talked about that in a video where I talked about 5 things that have really changed the way that I do photography. And that has really been one of the things that has really changed things. And I keep my main SD cards in that, but I keep extras in this business card case. The only other thing I keep in this pocket is a USB battery bank. Like I said, I charge a lot of stuff off of USB. My 2 main cameras both can charge off of USB, so I keep a battery bank so I can charge my cameras on the go. This one is PNY. I think it's like 5,400 milliamp hours. They don't even make it anymore, but it's been really handy to have. Next, we're gonna move to these side pockets. So on my right side, your left side, we have my speed light. I keep 2 speed lights in my kit. The first one is right here on the side of the camera. The second one I keep in my other bag. Like I said, I carry a second bag that I keep just for lighting equipment that I use at receptions. So I keep this one on me all the time so I can use it throughout the day. but then I keep my second speed light only to use at receptions because I don't usually need both speed lights before the reception. So this is a Yongnuo YN560 Mark IV. It's a great speed light because it's all manual, which I don't really care much for TTL, but this is an all manual flash and it has a lot of features for the price. For like $50, I picked up 2 of these things, and basically the big ticket for these is that they can trigger or act as a receiver. So I actually don't carry a trigger or receiver with me on a wedding day. I can use these, stick it on top of my camera, and trigger the other flash with the flash. So I don't need to carry a trigger or a receiver with me. In my other side pocket, I keep a continuous light. This is the knockoff of a newer YN160 or CN160. These are cheap lights. And this one only costs like 15 bucks, but I use it for ring shots. So I can really see what I'm working with when I'm doing ring shots, and I use these. So I actually keep another light, which we'll get to later, in here for ring shots. This I keep powered by a Sony NTF type battery. So I keep that in my bag as well. Next up, getting to the front pockets. In this pocket, I just keep some ND filters. So here I have a variable ND filter, and then right here I have this little filter that I basically ghetto rigged to mimic what it would look like to some people as an anamorphic filter. So it's kind of like an anamorphic mimic filter. I don't use it often, but I have used it on a couple of video projects and it's looked nice. And then in my other pocket on the top here, I keep my Peak Design capture clip. This is the original Peak Design capture clip. These things are great. I don't use them much, but I have used it on a number of occasions, which is why I keep it in my bag, because the times where I have used it, it's really come in handy. But most of the time, I use my other my camera holster, which I talked about in my 5 products that changed my photography video. So you guys can check that out if you want to see the camera holster, or wait a little longer in this video and you get to see it. We're gonna go ahead and open the top area here. This is one of the main areas in the bag. So this is the top main section. And in here, I keep another continuous light. This is the Yongnuo YN300 Mark II. And this is a great light. I use this thing for both photo and video, and it's been super handy. This here is basically a knockoff of a Gary Fong. Gary Fong is a photographer, and he developed this little device. It goes on top of your speed light to kind of diffuse the flash and make it more less directional and more uniform all around. That way your flash is more soft and you can kind of mold it a little more smoothly. I've used it on occasion, don't use it a lot, but it does come in handy in receptions. Other thing I keep in the top section is another diffuser. This is like a miniature softbox. It's by Photodiox. It goes on top of your camera, again, to help diffuse the light and kind of help you shape it a little bit better. All right, next up, we move into the main section of the camera bag. And this is where I keep all of the goodies. Okay, so we're gonna go through this bit by bit. We're gonna start off with the big thing in the bag, which is my main camera. This camera is the Sony A7R2. It's been my main camera for a little over a year now. It's a great camera, 42 megapixels. Really like working with this thing. I made a whole video, actually a number of videos talking about this camera. On it right now, I've got my primary lens that I use for photography. This is the Rokinon 50mm 1.4. It's really a great lens. It's got autofocus that's good enough for weddings, and the quality for the price you're paying is excellent, and I'm really happy with it. Not looking to upgrade this one anytime soon. But I do have a battery grip on here, as well as this handle, which I talked about in my 5 products that changed my photography video. Next up is my backup camera, which is my Sony A6300. This was my main camera until I got the A7R2. Main reason I switched off of this camera was for the ergonomics. It's just so small that it lacks the actual controls to be great for all-day photography, which is the main reason I switched off of it. And on it, I have the Sony 28mm f2. I keep this on here because on here, it makes it approximately a 50mm, which is what I'm going to be using on my main lens. But then it's also a full frame lens, so I can stick it on my A7R2, and it's a 28mm, which is great. It's kind of like an almost wide angle. So it's kind of a dual function, dual purpose lens, and that's excellent. I keep my Canon 85mm 1.8. This kind of is like a beater lens. This thing's been through a lot, and the value you get for this lens I think is top notch. You know, people talk a lot about the Canon 50mm 1.8 is kind of like a lens that everybody needs to have, and I think this is another one of those lenses that everybody needs to have. For 400 bucks, it is so good. And I've actually gone through about 3 of these things because I keep losing them or breaking them. This one itself was actually broken for quite some time, and you can see the focus ring is gone, but I fixed it and I've been using it for years now. On it, I've got the Metabones Mark IV adapter to adapt it to use on my Sony camera, and with the adapter, it runs superb. The autofocus and everything is just as good as it would be on a Canon camera. Next up, we have the camera holster that I mentioned earlier. This is one of the videos, or one of the products that I featured in my 5 products that changed my photography video. If you want to see more about this thing, you can watch that video, but basically it allows me to carry my camera on my hip without any kind of fatigue. Another thing I keep in my bag is these macro rings, because I don't carry a macro lens in my kit. I also still have to be able to get some close-up shots for the rings and some other products and stuff. So I keep these macro rings so I'm able to adapt some of my other lenses in order to get macro shots, and that's what these are for. Helps me keep my kit slimmed down so I don't have to carry an extra lens with me while still being able to get all the shots that I need. Next up, we have my battery chargers, and this is the last thing in my bag because you have all these batteries, you gotta have battery chargers. So this is an MPF battery charger, this is a Sony battery charger, and this is the Eneloop battery charger, and this allows me to charge all of the batteries that I keep here. But one other thing that I don't have with me here is a battery grip for this camera, the Sony A6300, and I don't have it here, but what I use that for isn't as a battery grip on this camera, but I actually use it to charge batteries, because the battery grip can take a micro USB input and it can hold 2 batteries at one time. It allows me to charge 2 batteries at once using a micro USB cable, which is awesome because that means I can charge so many different ways. The battery bank like that, I could charge through an AC adapter, or I could charge through a car adapter. There's so many ways you could charge a camera through that battery grip. And we'll zip the bag back up because that does it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you guys got something from it. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit about what I carry with me on a wedding day, and maybe it informed you some way on what you should carry if you're about to go shoot your first wedding, or if you're an experienced pro and you're just looking for some ideas on how to switch it up. Guys, if there's something you think I should have in my wedding bag, tell me down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please like it and subscribe for more videos like this one. We're making new stuff all the time, like the what's in my video bag coming out very soon, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon.